Hey everyone, it's Ben, and obviously we all want to drive fast. We all have that need for speed, but not everyone has the cash to splash. Well, thankfully, thanks to modern technology, high top speeds can be accessed much easier in the 21st century, and I believe the cheapest supercar you can get right now is the CA Corvette for around 50,000 American dollars, which isn't bad. But I'm saying to myself, what if I'm saying to myself, I know a way you could get a much cheaper solution, a much better, more reliable, and it's more customizable. You know what that solution is, my dear friends? Kit cars. Yes. If you don't know what, if you're the small minority who don't know what kit cars are basically just a kit. You build it to whatever you like. There are three main examples I would like to talk about, which are Factory 5, K1, the K1 Attack, and Burton. Burton's much more unique, but I will explain that in the end. So Factory 5 is a company which for the last few decades has been making some amazing kit cars. They have the Roadster, which is based on the AC Cobra. They have the Type 65 Coupe, which is based on the Shelby Roadster. They also have a 33 Roadster replica, which they can make for out of fiberglass, which is kind of cool. They also have their own designs, such as the M818, which you could either have in a Roadster or Coupe, and you can also have the GTM. The GTM is their supercar, and honestly, it's a super magnificent vehicle. Honestly, you should go and search up the Factory 5 if you ever want to make your own supercar. Because obviously, this is just for you to make a brand new supercar on the cheap, right? Because if you want to get a cheap supercar, you just go second hand. Easy as that. But you're those people who are those unique little wallflowers who just say, hey, I want something brand new. I want to treat to myself something new. I'm like, okay, fine. Trust me, kit cars, fine, is a little bit more work, but the payoff is absolutely amazing, especially because they're brand new. Let's take the example of the KTM supercar. Basically got the whole body and the chassis, and also with all of this, anything you want. Let's say average you spend 27,000 for the whole complete kit. The only thing you have left is the drivetrain, engine, transmission, and other parts which make the car move. So, I have some options. If you want, you could buy, for example, you can buy yourself a second-hand LS motor, because LSs are cheap, easy to tune, and you can go really fast, brand new or second-hand. For example, I believe the new LT5 crate engine you can get from Chevrolet Performance has 755 horsepower and 715 pound-foot of torque stock from a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Fine, it's not Dodge. It's not like what Dodge has been doing recently with 840 horsepower, or the Elephant engine, which basically does 1,000. But you can tune to that much if you know what you're doing. And honestly, 755 horsepower, 715 pound-foot of torque for your very own lightweight supercar, which, if you want to, because you can build it to whatever spec you want, you could shove in a 7-speed manual from a Corvette, and if you want, maybe even put a Porsche rear transact axle, which could make the car an absolute legend to drive, an absolute legend. Another example, and I believe the engine costs about $30,000. So for around 50-60 grand, without all the taxes and the insurance costs and registry, it's a pretty decent car. Imagine saying to yourself, oh, I own a 755 horsepower supercar with a 7-speed manual transmission, brand new, for $60,000. Yeah, lots of people get quite envious. Also, if you want to, for a much cheaper option, you could for example get their Mark IV Roadster, which is basically the AC Cobra. The AC Cobra is much more adaptable. If you want, you can just shove in an old 427 Ford V8, or if you want to go nuts, you could put in a 454 cubic inch inside. Who gives a shit? It can fit. Cause hell, why the hell not? May I? And one of the engines I would love to recommend for all of these factory 5 cars, especially if you're wanting to use 4 parts. Use a slightly older Jaguar, a Jaguar supercharged V8, 5-liter supercharged, can make up to 510 horsepower average. They're telling me, why use a Jaguar engine? Well, the engines that Jaguar uses are made by Ford, meaning yeah, they're basically 4 parts. And if there's some complications with adding things up, you can obviously adapt. You could do some modifications to adapt it. There are some parts you could get on the internet. So yeah, for between I'd say between 30 to 65, 70-ish $1,000, you can get yourself a super decent gasoline supercar. If you want to go electric because you're that special little fucking wallflower, you can get yourself if you want to the 818 coupe, the 818, the factory type 818. But the thing is, 818 is can be used both for gasoline and for electric. But let's say if you want to have electric and you can't afford a Tesla Roadster, because you want to be like your Twitch stream waifu, who's also gonna get one from the money you give it to her. You fucking simp. Well, instead of spending 200 grand, you could just, I don't know, buy 2 super powerful electric motors from Tesla from EV West for about, I'd say, $22,000. A lot of money, obviously, but think about it. You are getting 2 Tesla electric motors, and obviously I'm saying you get 2 because you have to buy 2 separately, and they all have the controllers and everything. So if you sell the controls and everything, you get $1,500 back. So technically, it's $19,500. So not a bad deal. And think about this, right? You have a 1,070 plus horsepower car. That's just. But if you want to go super cheap, EV West also has some very cheap conversion kits, but you have to buy them. But then you have to go and choose your own battery separately. Either if you want a super long range car or a super short range electric car. I'm not into electric that much, but you do you, my friend. You do you. Second one is K1 Attack. Now this is a European company which has designed their own car called the K1 Attack. And these kits range for about, I'd say, 10 to 15,000 euro. I'm not sure yet. I'm not so sure, but you can go check for yourself. If you want, you can get donor cars, and most of these donor cars, weirdly, the biggest engine I found was a 2-liter. I'm like, man, you could shove in a 3-liter V6 in this, man, why? But I think it's more of the ease and accessibility of the parts. So, yeah, I could say that. But if you wanted to, for about 10-15,000 you get a complete kit. And all you have to do is get your own drivetrain. May I recommend a 2.3-liter EcoBoost from Ford? Because holy shit, those fuckers are just powerful. You can make 315 horsepower, and I know some people who managed to get 550 horsepower from a 2.3-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. And knowing that the K1 is a very lightweight fiberglass car, that is just absolutely, it's insane. Like, that's just and the engines are quite cheap, but it's a brand new engine. And if you want to, slap in a 6-speed manual, slap in a 7-speed manual, hell, fuck it, slap in like a 4-speed manual from like your old Ford Cortina. I don't care. It's an amazing kit car, and that is more of the mid-range option. So basically, if you're, hell, I don't think you could fit in a V8, but if you find a V8 small enough, I would just, if any of you get any of these kit cars, tell me, Or if I get anything wrong, just correct me. I would love to know. So yeah, let's continue. So the K1 could cost you between about 17,500, obviously with the parts you bought, and obviously it's without tax and registration. And and you obviously have to build them yourself, okay? And it can go, and obviously I recommend spending between 17,500 and 25, 28, 30k euro. Sorry, those are my dogs. And the cheapest option I found, which I think is really good, is Burton, a company from the Netherlands. They're quite weird. If you go search them up, they make really weird looking retro style cars, kit cars, and their cheapest kit can cost up to 4.3k, and which is quite cheap, and you could build one for you if you wanted to. There's one catch. They're based of the 2CV. Yes, that little 2CV where its most powerful engine produced 12 horsepower. Yeah, you basically, if you want, but I have a solution. Buy the Bertone kit and upgrade it with an engine of around the same size. Nowadays, motorcycles can produce a shit ton of horsepower, and if you manage to shoehorn an engine, may I recommend a Kawasaki engine. Shove in a supercharger, tune it up a bit, and you got a possible 200-250 horsepower ultra lightweight kit car. Obviously, there are many more kit cars out there that you could use to go super fast, super quick. But if you're willing to save a bit of money and just buy a kit and do all the research of what you want to do and what you want to get and take the time to build it, trust me, you will have your very own personalized kit car depending on what your tastes are. If you prefer manual, automatic, semi-automatic, or fucking balloons and shit, I don't care. This is just amazing. And think about it, the cheapest Corvette C8 is 50 grand, and their most powerful one, which has about 490 horsepower, costs about 70 grand. And that GTM I told you back before, the very thing I told you, the GTM with an LT5 engine, stock 755 horsepower and 715 pound-foot of torque. Click to a 7-speed manual automatic, 60 grand. You're saving around 10 or 15,000 bucks just by building and choosing the parts yourself, and you already got a car which has almost, it has basically almost 200. Oh my god, you're basically getting a car which has over 200 more horsepower. You know that, right? 200 more horsepower for $20,000 less. That's not just a good deal. It's an amazing deal. And if you love your cars, you're not just buying cars just to look fancy. These kit cars can really help you learn how to more about your car, how to install parts, how to repair parts, how to understand your parts, how to drive it. You understand more about the car, because there are people who would buy the car, and because the car is so, because they're not used to how to work on a car or any machine, they don't understand how hard it is to work on it. When you build your own car, which is basically the hardest thing to do, one of the hardest things to do in my opinion, you get to learn more about, oh shit, I know what it's like when this goes wrong or this goes wrong, let me fix it myself. And then because you know how you made it, you can diagnose it quickly and save more money. So you're not only saving money by building the car, you're also saving more money fixing the car. Yeah, it's a win-win for everyone. You get to help small kit car companies make a living and keep their workers throughout this horrible pandemic, while you can use your time valuably and save money, learn more, and appreciate more. This is Benji, and I have just solved your need for speed problem. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.